God.
Put back down. Mine didn't pop. And we were on a vacation, so of course I didn't get to a doctor for a couple of weeks until after we got back. There wasn't much they could do, so I ended up with one hearing aid.
Did anybody hear from that?
So whenever I don't want to hear my husband, all right, I just take it off.
Lauren, you did Holocaust things, right?
Yeah. On for years. Oh, wow.
You're not going to do it all?
She's doing next week.
Okay. Well,
No, this Sunday is no,
Lauren, forget I said it.
next weekend is my son's wedding.
Well, she's doing some youngster.
And then a week after my oldest daughter's graduating USF med school.
I'm gonna tell her, I don't want to do online.
I got a trifecta because my other daughter in August is graduating from USF nursing school.
Wow.
Lots of symptoms this year.
Which is a nice thing.
Yes.
Probably New York, right?
Yeah, and she's walking right into a job at Shands Hospital in Gainesville, yeah. We're all die-hard blue bleeding gators, all of us. I'm not.
Shands is great.
She get
She's doing her residency here at TGH for a year in internal medicine. She's thinking about dermatology or radiology. Yeah, she's interested in that. She really wanted to do plastics, but she didn't match it. So she got it.
So you decided to just spend What do I think you have? A lot of stuff.
I wish I would have known earlier, teaching. It's like it never ends a difference.
Here, you have to be like right there.
No, it won't. We can move them.
La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la ya la 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 la. Ya la ya la la la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is so lovely to be here with all of you on this Shabbat. Those of you joining us here in the room, thank you so much for making us a part of your Shabbat experience. For those of you joining us from these small sanctuaries of your own homes, thank you to you as well for participating with us, not watching, participating. And we really do believe that when you are participating with us in our service, your home becomes an extension of our sanctuary and vice versa. So thank you so much. We feel you here. We feel your presence. We feel your spirit with us. For those of us in the room tonight, we'll ask everyone to turn off your electronic devices, or if that is impossible for you, as it is for so many of us nowadays, we ask you to silence your phone so they won't be a distraction. If you need something to do with your hands, we do have an old-fashioned solution. That is our Mishkan Tefillah prayer book. Any prayer that we're doing from the service that you'll be able to find in the book, there will be a page number on the screen, and you can feel free to pop the book open, follow along. There's some good stuff in there. It's okay to get a little lost and be on a different page from someone else. That's how good prayer works. So you'll be able to find that in the seat back in front of you. During the service, there will be times where we will ask people to stand. If that is physically uncomfortable for you, please feel free to remain seated. We know you'll be standing in your heart. We are so grateful to be joined tonight by our Kolenu choir, who are lifting their beautiful voices to add to our service, and we encourage you to sing along with them. They are here to lead us in song. They are, of course, ably led by Cantor Deborah Canizaro. We're also joined by Rabbi Joel Simon, and, of course, Robert Jarash, who will bring music to everything we do tonight. It is a real treat to be here on Shabbat. And there's something that happens when we go from Shabbat into a holiday. So, for example, Passover started on Shabbat. So we do so when we end Shabbat, we do a Havdalah, moving from holy to ordinary. But when you go from Shabbat to Passover, we say we're going from holy to holy, right? From one holy moment to another. And Passover for us is ending tonight. And you might think then that we're going to say a Havdalah moving from holy to holy, but it turns out that only counts when you're going from something that is very, very holy to something that's a little less holy. And what we're actually doing tonight is we are moving from Pesach, which is really holy, to Shabbat, which is really, really holy. And what Shabbat does that Passover can't do, Passover brings us back the Exodus, our call to freedom every single year. Shabbat calls us to freedom from work, freedom from stress, freedom from the barriers we put up around ourselves every single week. Shabbat is a wonderful, precious gift, and it is the holiest day of the Jewish year. And it comes 52 times a year. So let us enter this holy Shabbat together, this holier moment than the day before. In speaking of holy moments, we are so excited this weekend to be able to celebrate with Sammy Iglesias and her family as she becomes bat mitzvah tomorrow morning. And so we will invite her up to lead us in the blessing of our Shabbat candles and Kiddush, along with her family, Stephen, Lisa, Rory, Ian, and Mackenzie.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu L'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who, finding favor with us, sanctified us with mitzvot. In love and favor, you made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You chose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pori hagafen.
Amen.
You want to read that?
Praise to you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pori hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'charta v'yotanu kiddashta mikohamim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'ratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
Chaim. So now you each can have a sip if you want. And then you can all go back to your seats. Ian, we're going to have you stay up, though.
Nothing like Concord cream.
2 seconds before L'chadodi. Sorry. Yeah. So Ian, when do you leave? In just a couple weeks, Ian is headed to Taiwan. And we are so excited for you and want to offer you a blessing for safe travel, if that's okay. There aren't many people who come and say, how can I expand my Jewish life while I'm away in Taiwan? But that was a really special phone call to get, and I'm hoping that we get to continue to learn together and that I get to learn a little bit about Taiwan while you're there. And we're just excited for you. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu shetolichenu l'shalom v'ta'azrenu l'hagia limchoz cheftzenu l'chayim u'lesimcha u'leshalom u'shmor tzeitenu u'voenu v'tatzilenu mikol tzara v'tishalach baracha b'chol ma'aseh yadenu u'ma'asenu yechabdu et shemecha Baruch atah Adonai shomer Yisrael la'ad. May it be your will, our God and God of our ancestors, that you lead Ian in peace, helping him to reach his destination safely, joyfully, and peacefully. May you protect him on his leaving and on his return, rescuing him from any harm. And may you bless the work of his hands, and may his deeds merit honor for you. Blessed are you, Adonai, protector of Israel and all peoples, as we say, Amen. And Ian, whenever we have a special occasion at Schaarai Zedek, and you can take this with you on the plane, we're going to give you a box of sweet Schaarai Zedek raisins to take with you.
Excellent.
Okay, so we're excited for you and look forward to hearing lots of stories.
Let's see, yeah,
All right.
good travel.
And our opening song tonight will be Lecha Dodi. If you're familiar with the melody, please sing along. And even if you're not familiar with the melody, pretend. Let's all, it's a quick and you'll pick it up in no time. Let's sing. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Vekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Vekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Vekabela. Lecha Dodi.
I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'amad yigrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. Ve'chayechon yom echon u'chayei tevol Beit Yisrael. Ba'kala V'yit ba'arvit roman v'yit naseh, v'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei de kudisha. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran ve'ama, ve'himeru. Amen.
We rise now in our places or in our hearts for the Baruch. We read together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening.
In honor of her bat mitzvah tomorrow morning, it is my pleasure to call up Samantha Iglesias to lead us in Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'elech asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkaru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Beautifully led. And that kind of wonderful prayer leadership is just a preview of what we'll be getting tomorrow. I tell a lot of my students this. Sammy, you have what makes a really good prayer leader. You know your prayers and you can share them with us beautifully. But the most important part of leading prayer is how you treat people when you're off the bima. And you've got that too. So thank you for leading us tomorrow. Let's read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ga Yisrael.
Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Together, watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day God ceased from work and was refreshed. Now in our places or in our hearts for the Amidah.
One note you should know is since Passover this is the end of Passover, but now we are in the summer portion in Israel. So you'll notice in the Gevurot there is one change from Mashiv HaRuach, Morid HaGashem, to Morid HaTal. You'll notice it in the service, or on the slides. Adonai sefatai tita uvia gita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor, v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geulah Livnei Bneihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atarav Le'Hoshia, Morid HaTal, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofei Koholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot,
Umido Melech, Melech Meimid Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Ata L'Hayot HaKol, Baruch Ata Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Ata Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, Ukadoshim B'Chol Yom Hallelu Selah. Baruch Ata Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. And we are seated. Let us read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. It is here in the presence of sacred community that we take a moment to acknowledge those who aren't here because they are ailing in mind, body, and spirit, those who lie on beds of sickness and pain. We ask for strength for all of those going through something difficult and health-related. We ask for fortitude for their families and courage in taking care of them. We ask for wisdom for their doctors and nurses. And we ask for strength for all of us as we nurse the pain that so many of us have gone through and continue to hold in these past 2 years of turmoil in our lives. We ask for God's healing upon all in need in this community and all communities. As we hold the names of people we're thinking of in our hearts very tightly, we'll let that inspire us to maybe send them a text or an email, let them know that we love them, maybe after Shabbat. and we'll raise our voices in song in our communal prayer of healing. Misha Berach.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
Take a silent moment now for a prayer that is entirely our own, making space in our hearts for the unmet need, the unspoken pain, the often hidden gratitude for the wonderful things in our lives.
Shalom Biroma, Huya Aseh Shalom Aleinu. Ose Shalom Biroma, Huya Aseh Shalom Aleinu. Ose Shalom Biroma, Huya Aseh Shalom Aleinu. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'akol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'akol Yisrael. Oseh Shalom Biroma, Huya Aseh Shalom Biroma, Huya Aseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Biroma, Huya Aseh Shalom Aleinu. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol
How great is it to have our Kolenu choir with us? You guys are amazing. You were wonderful in boxes, I'm not going to lie, but it's better having you here. You should go back and watch those. Yeah. So if you haven't heard yet, it is the last day of Passover, unless it isn't. This is the big debate in the there are a lot of debates in the Jewish world. So let me kind of explain, and some of you have heard me explain before, but just in case any of you are saying, wait, it's not the last day of Passover, we still have one more day. So for Reform Jews and all Jews in the land of Israel, today is the last day of Passover. In the Torah, Passover is a 7-day holiday. So if first Seder was on Friday night, then we end on Friday night. But conservative and Orthodox Jews outside of Israel add an extra day really to every of the biblical festivals except for Yom Kippur. So their Passover will end tomorrow night. Now the reason is in ancient times, before we had a written calendar, the Beit Din, the rabbinic court, would watch the sky and they would declare when it was the new moon. And the new moon was the beginning of a new month. And then messengers would go out to tell others that the new month had begun. But those who were outside of the land of Israel couldn't be reached within 2 weeks. And Passover begins on the 15th. So they would have to watch the sky themselves, judge when it was the new moon, but they didn't know if they were doing it the same as the official Beit Din in Jerusalem. So they would add an extra day just in case, right? We always talk about that fence around the law. Now, one of the first decisions of the reformers in Europe was that we could abandon this extra day, that we have written calendars, that there was no need for the extra day. I work with a lot of interfaith couples, and there are a lot of things that we have to work through and overcome. But when there's someone from a Reform family and someone from a conservative family, and one is 7 days of Passover and one is 8 days of Passover, it used to be one who does, actually still, one who eats corn and beans and rice on Passover, one who doesn't eat corn and beans and rice on. These are the real challenges that we have to overcome. But what's amazing is that no matter how many differences we have in our observance, in our practice, there are always things that bring us together. And that's what we want to focus on, right? So tonight, I want us to face one of the great dilemmas that all Jews have to tackle. What do you do with the leftover matzah? I don't know about you all, but that 5-box pack that's what, like $8 when one box is $4? Of course you're going to get the 5-box pack. And then you end up eating 2 boxes. So what do you do with the leftover matzah? So I'm going to give some thoughts in a moment, but first I'm going to go to a friend of mine. Her name is Michelle Citron. She's a musician living in the Northeast now. And she and one of her friends, William Levin, give us some ideas. So here we go. Let's see if this works.
Happy Passover. Thanks for all the matzah. Bye. What am I going to do with all this matzah?
Passover's over, and wouldn't it be neat if you could use all the matzah that you didn't eat? Catch it like a frisbee with your friends in the park, or you could jump in the water and pretend you're a shark. You can make a matzah big and play the guitar, and you can make a matzah license plate for your car. Use it as a coaster when you're drinking your beer, or you can throw it as confetti for a happy new year.
7. Insulate.
Decorate.
9. Exfoliate. 10.
Constipate. Passover's over, and wouldn't it be neat if you could use all the matzah that you didn't eat? Crumble up some matzah to line your hamster cage, or you can use it as a bookmark to hold your page. Or break a stack of matzah when you practice your karate. Build a matzah doghouse for your doggy named Scotty. Make a little matzah board and wave it goodbye. Or you can make a pair of matzah wings and learn how to fly. Wear some matzah jewelry. Make a picture frame for me. Have a drink of matzah tea. Matzah's all that I can see. There's just one more thing to do with unleavened bread. You can eat it, 'cause it ain't all that bad.
We rise now for Aleinu. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just... no, I was joking. I was joking. Not too much longer, though. Those were all pretty good options. And I think in religious school on Sunday, we'll have to try to figure out some more. S'mores. S'mores would be good. By the way, at our Oneg Shabbat, we do have a Passover table. So for anyone who does observe an 8th day of Passover, we won't give you a hard time, and we'll look the other, we won't flaunt our non-Passover cookies. Although if that chocolate-covered matzah that we had is there, I might go for some of that anyway. So in reality, we have two choices. We can eat our leftover matzah, and I've definitely had matzah pizza for months after Passover before, or you can save it for next year. I think there are those who would say it's not kosher if you bought it for one Passover, but I'll allow it. But I have another suggestion. So according to the Pew report, 70% of American Jews participate in a Seder. It is the most observed Jewish ritual. Hanukkah might be more, but it's up there. It's up there. And almost 2/3 of those 70% won't attend another Jewish service until Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur. I know I'm preaching to the choir, literally, tonight. But I think that matzah can really be a reminder for those 2/3 of 50%-ish. Because I think Passover is a reminder of the many ways in which Judaism can play a role in our life. And I think Passover really gets 4. The first is the religious. And I know for a lot of those 2/3 of the 70%, this is one of the reasons why they're not so involved. But that religious part of Passover, saying the prayers before we eat, telling stories from our Torah which have shaped our people, refraining from eating bread, eating matzah instead, partaking in some of the ritual laws, this really is one of the few times that so many Jews participate in this religious part of our Judaism. The second is the cultural, making recipes we learned perhaps from our grandparents, eating matzah ball soup and gefilte fish, singing songs like Chad Gadya, which have almost nothing to do with the meaning of the holiday, but have been sung by generations. Passover also reminds us of tikkun olam, of social justice, thinking of all those who are still enslaved today and our responsibility to fight for their freedom. Passover reminds us of our connection to Israel. We say L'shana haba'ah b'Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. And while this is written in reference to a messianic age, it reminds us of our desire to visit and support Israel. And then, of course, there's the social. Hopefully, if we've done it right, Passover is the epitome of having fun while we celebrate our Judaism. We're with friends, family, maybe even a few strangers, singing together, eating together, drinking together, reminding one another why it's so important that we pass these traditions on to the next generation. So, sure, we could seal up our matzah and put it in the back of our pantries, saving it for next year, as long as we remember to take it out and celebrate again. We can eat matzah pizza until the boxes are empty. But I have another suggestion, which is keeping that box of matzah out on our counter, where we'll see it every day, reminding ourselves of the many ways in which Judaism can play a role in our lives, religiously, culturally, reminding us to try to make the world a better place, reminding us of our brothers and sisters in Israel, reminding us of how fun Jewish life can be, reminding us that as we move from one holy out of this holiday of Passover, that we don't have to move to a whole, we don't have to move to an absence of Judaism, that we can move from one holy to a holier, crossing through our Red Seas to a place where Judaism can be a part of our life in every moment of every day. So if that's the result of a little leftover matzah, it's a good thing. So we'll still say, let's see, the sun is almost down. So we'll still say Good Yantif and Chag Sameach as we have this last moment of our Passover together. And I guess the other thing that you do at the end of Passover is announcements. Tomorrow morning, Rabbi Weiss, as always, will be leading us in Torah study. That's at 9 o'clock. You can either join in the Sisterhood meeting room or on Zoom. We're looking ahead. Thursday is Yom HaShoah, which is the day when we join with the rest of the Jewish world in remembering the horrors of the Holocaust. We'll be joining with the Tampa Jewish community at Likes Gaslight Park, which is downtown. We're starting at 7 o'clock a.m., and we're going to be there all the way until 7 o'clock p.m. You don't have to come for the whole time. You have the opportunity, if you go to our website and go to April 28th, you'll see Yom HaShoah, and there's a link. We also emailed it to you. There's a link to sign up for a 10-minute slot. This has become a tradition in many communities to spend all of Yom HaShoah reading the names of victims of the Holocaust, of those who were killed. So if you sign up for a 10-minute slot, when you get there, you'll be given a list of names, and you spend that time reading the names. And it's okay if you mispronounce them. It's really about the spirit that comes with it. And then at 6:45, we'll have a concluding service with all of the congregations together. There's this really neat time in between Passover and Shavuot where in the Israeli civil calendar we're taken through a modern journey of slavery to freedom. So we have Yom HaShoah, then a week later is Yom HaZikaron, which is Israel's Memorial Day, remembering those who died fighting for Israel's defense. And whereas in America, Memorial Day, some of us know people who have been in the military, but I think there are a lot for whom it is very far removed. In Israel, everyone knows someone. Pretty much every family has someone in their family who was killed in defense of the country. So Yom HaZikaron, Memorial Day in Israel, is a very solemn day. There's this moment where a siren blares throughout the land, and you have everyone stop what they're doing. Cars stop on the highway, and everyone gets out of their car. Everyone stands in silence for a minute while that siren goes. And then Yom HaZikaron, Memorial Day, goes right into Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel's Independence Day at sunset. And again, while the 4th of July is a wonderful day for us in America, in Israel, when independence is not a given, when existence is not a given, when you fought for that freedom, that Independence Day means something a little bit different. And it's really a special day to be in Israel. So we are joining with Congregation Rodef Shalom and marking the beginning of Yom HaAtzmaut, the move from Yom HaZikaron to Yom HaAtzmaut. We're going to be here in our sanctuary and we are bringing in a comedian named Joel Chasnoff. He's American, but made Aliyah, moved to Israel, served in the IDF, and his comedy is from an American perspective of Israel. And having been in the army and having gotten to know Israeli society, he is famous for anyone who's been on Birthright, and we're really, really glad to have him with us. So that's the evening of May 4th, and we really hope that everyone will join us. And I know there are lots of other things that I could be talking about, and I'll get in trouble for not mentioning something. We'll count the Omer.
For 1 second?
Yes, and Rabbi Weiss is going to tell us about something he's doing.
Really, really quickly. May 11th, we're doing the next program of the Schaarai Zedek gaming project, exploring interactive, sort of narrative experiences, otherwise known as video games, for their Jewish meaning. We'll be playing a game called Before Your Eyes, which had me weeping in my office the other day. If you haven't really played a game before, this one is really accessible and really beautiful, and it could have a real impact. And you can find all the information on the website. As a last resort, I will get on the phone and help you download it. But first, I would ask some of your Gen Z family members, because it's a great time to talk to them, and also they'll know your computer a little bit better. But I'm happy to help. Play the game before the session. We'll come together and talk about it. You have 2 weeks. It'll be really nice and a really interesting way to explore sort of new media.
Yeah. And this is a really neat thing that Rabbi Weiss is doing. He saw how we used movies and learned from movies and saw Jewish values in movies and asked if he could do it with video games. And why not? And I'll be playing it. I'm looking forward to it. So I mentioned the Yoms, Yom HaShoah, Yom HaZikaron, Yom HaAtzmaut. From the Torah, we are in a period between Passover and Shavuot called the Omer. We are supposed to count each day from the second day of Passover, 7 weeks until we get to Shavuot, and we will join together in that ritual now. First, we say the blessing for the counting, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who sanctifies us with the commandments and commands us to count the Omer. Feel free to join with me. Hayom shiva yamim shehem shavua echad la'omer. Today is 7 days, which is 1 week of the Omer. And now, if you are able and comfortable, we rise for Aleinu as we begin to conclude our service. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. So look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. On this Shabbat, we remember those who have recently been laid to rest, those for whom we are in the period of Shloshim. Marcia Weiner, Ignacio Almorza, Eugene Gamel, Mortimer Evans, Corinne Blumenthal, Martin Kessler, Norman Samuels, Ed Sherman, Stephen Grossman, Beth Rosenkrantz-Straight, Paulette Rich Geierman, and to be laid to rest this weekend, Susan Silver. We also remember those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of whose passing, occurs at this time. Fred Ball, Erwin Berlin, Shirley Branner, Irving Bressler, Herman Busansky, Gerald Cutler, Miriam Ephraim, Harry Feldman, Charlotte Fisher, Lawrence Frankel, Ivan Friedland, Geraldine Gambrill, Shirley Geegan, Pearl Goldner, Esther Goldsmith, Louis Goodman, Marilyn Gottfried, Victoria Jacobson, Al Janis, David Catt, Sarah Kleinmetz, Dorothy Klein, Roy Klinger, Rena Kushner, Beverly Loring, Michael Levine, Saul Levy, Myron Linfield, William Lowenthal, Julia Moss, Aida Mack, Ray Martyr, Irving Medjibo, Emily Meyerson, Henry Mishalov, Kathleen Morelli, Mildred Moss, Saul Moss, Harry Newborn, Israel Paradise, Jean Parada, John Rosenberg, Edith Sanders, Edward Siegel, Timothy Smith, Louis Taub, Anthony Teachman, Harold Turkel, Robert Traven, Rachel Treves, Selma Vosk, Francis Weil, Richard Weinberger, Ronald Weisberg, Martha Zolonka, and Jack Zussman. We remember each of them as we remember all of our loved ones who are no longer with us, who, though unmentioned, are always in our hearts. And with the words of Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, even as we mourn, we offer thanks and praise to God, for we are so grateful to have had such special lives shared with us. So we rise at this time as we join together. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbam nevarach le'olam u'lalmei almayeh. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'hala Shmei dekudusha barichu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemayim v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mroma, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all those who mourn and comfort to all among us who are bereaved, as we say together, Amen. And now we will join with our Kolenu choir one more time, singing our closing song, Ein Kelohenu. It's going to sound familiar, and sing along. There will be some differences also, but you'll catch on to those quickly.
Kemalkeinu
since we got things set up before Passover had ended, now this is actually interesting because if you were in a conservative or Orthodox home, even if Passover ended on Friday night, you wouldn't break Passover until Saturday night because you can't buy anything not kosher for Passover before Passover ends, and then you can't buy anything kosher for Passover after Shabbat begins, so you would still have a Passover Shabbat. So if any of you are upset that we bought our Oneg Shabbat goodies before Passover ended, again, we have Passover. No, you're not upset? Okay. All right, I think we're okay. So we'll say motzi over our matzah, but our Oneg Shabbat is in the Buckman Rachelson Social Hall and Sisterhood Meeting Room behind you, and you're welcome to eat whatever it is you're comfortable with. We'll sing together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yavarech et amo v'shalom. May God give strength unto this people, blessing this and all people with the ability to take our stories, to take our experiences, to keep them on our counter and take them with us so that we continue to learn from them, we continue to grow, we continue to be inspired, to let our Jewish values guide us, that we may be God's partner working with our partners in making this a world of peace. As we say together, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Guys, it sounded wonderful. We're grateful for you all. Hey. No.
There is a past in every portrait, and there is a truth in every tale, and all the days that came before us are as the wind upon our sails.
There is a forest in every father as he stands amidst the wild. There is a mountain in every mother, her sturdy force of heart and mind.
Your song, in every song,
as all our
as all our tears
are made of water.
made of water.
There is a home from which we come,
the door of our door knocking.
God lecha. The light in us shines on and on.
The door of our door knocking.
God lecha.
For time may pass, but it's never gone. The door of our door knocking. God lecha. The light in us shines on and on. The door of our door knocking.
God lecha.
For time
May pass, but it's never gone.
I just had to tell you, when I was lost I found you as a refuge. So let me in, cause I just wanna be close to you. Today is the day, so live it up, up and away. Fly high over all that you have made, and I will praise your name. Congregation Schaarai Zedek. Whatever I want to, I say whatever I set my mind to. When nobody expected, but the stone that the builders rejected has become the most important piece. So you will hear from me, Congregation Schaarai Zedek. Why open for me, honestly. Pull the gates wide, let them swing right open. And I will run through peacefully.
Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai tiftach. Na 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 Ufi yagid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai tiftach. Na 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 Ufi yagid Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai tiftach. Na 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 Ufi yagid Tehilatecha.
Oseh shalom bimroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu. 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 Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel.